Hello, my friends. Happy Monday. Happy November. Oh my goodness. We are ready to crush a fabulous month, right? Holidays are coming. Countdown to Christmas has begun. My son got himself dressed today and he was wearing like a Christmas T-Rex shirt. And I was like, what are you wearing, dude? And he was like, it's almost Christmas, so I'm going to wear a Christmas shirt. And I was like, score, you're my kid. You're totally my kid. Yeah, it's almost Christmas. It's next month, so we can start counting down, right? Okay, with that said, everything I want to talk about today, I feel like I've talked about before, but for whatever reason, I always try to be like prayerful about what needs to be said, what needs to be heard. And this is the message that just kept coming into my head. I had like 4 or 5 other ideas, and every time I tried to like map out the call in my head, it was like ideas are stopping, nothing is flowing. And so, like I said, I feel like I've talked about this before, but for whatever reason, I feel like it needs to be said again. So we're going to chat about it. Today we're going to chat about when you feel like life is just getting you, it's just getting the best of you, and you just feel overwhelmed and overworked and underappreciated and all the things. Okay, so last week, every single Sunday, me and my husband do have a family council. Essentially, we have this like whiteboard that's like Sunday through Saturday, and we just write down everything that's going on this week, everything from like calls that I have for coaching to where he's going to be with his landscaping business to what we're going to have for dinner to family events that we need to whatever. It's just everything's out there in a week. And I remember very distinctly last Sunday looking at our week and just like automatically feeling that like sense of panic and overwhelm and holy crap, how am I going to do everything? And just like, it was real. The anxiety, the stress was real. And I am one of those people who gets stressed so very, very, very easily. And when I am stressed, it is like problem. I cry, I'm mean, I'm just not a very nice person to be around when I'm stressed. And so I want to share. Good, Christy, good. So hopefully this is for you, if no one else, okay? I just felt so overwhelmed. And I just had a little thought in my head last week. Jordan, yes, girl, I see you. Just take it one day at a time. Just take it one day at a time. And as I was looking over my week, there was a lot of stuff on there, like everything from dentist appointments for me and my husband that we still hadn't figured out a sitter for our kids, to I launched a podcast today and still hadn't even figured out how to edit the podcast. Okay, at this point last week it launched today, so I figured it out, right? But and I didn't even plan meals. Like I just, it was one of those things that I was like, you know what, I just can't, and we'll just figure it out the night of. And you guys, we ate like crap last week. We had leftovers more often than I'd like to admit, which is fine because that means we at least cooked something. But we had fast food more often than we had leftovers, and it was like we had like the most gourmet thing we had last week was paninis with a salad kit. Like it was like just a struggle, okay? It was just a struggle, and it was fine. But we did it. We made it through. Yay, right? Like I still have hair. I did lose a lot last week, but it's all right. And we made it through, okay? So some of the things that helped me last week were, one, like I just said, planning it out, looking at it. And even though, yes, it created a little bit of stress and overwhelm, at least it was planned. At least I knew everything that matters, everything that's important. Sorry, my baby is in that phase where she sticks everything in her mouth. And I don't know what she's got in her mouth, so one second. All right, of course it was a Capri Sun straw thingy. She finds everything. It's fine, we're fine. So planned it all out. Yes, it was overwhelming at a glance, but at least everything that was important to me that I didn't want to miss, that I didn't want to overlook was there. And I knew what time it was. I knew all the things, okay? So then had that thought, all right, take it one one day at a time, one. And I knew that like one of the biggest stressors that I had on my plate was my podcast. And I knew, you know what, Monday and Tuesday, they're not going to be the days that, sorry, I just thought of something and I don't want to forget it because my brain will forget something that I want to say. So now, of course, I just forgot what I was saying. I knew that Monday and Tuesday were going to be busy, okay? And I knew Wednesday was not going to be busy. So I knew, you know what? Grace, not perfection. I'm not even going to think about my podcast until Wednesday because I have things Monday and Tuesday that just have to happen those days, and I'm not even going to worry. Not even going to think about it. It's not even going to be a priority at all until Wednesday, okay? And then when Wednesday came, I had certain things on my list, but I have this beautiful, fabulous planner called a Red Fox planner that just has a spot for every point in my day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. in half-hour increments. And when I use that bad boy, I would love to say I'm really good at it every day. I'm not. But when I do, there is a very distinct difference in my day when I use it versus when I don't. And I time blocked every single point in my day that day. This is the time that I need to drop my son off at school. This is the time that I need to call XYZ person. This is the time that I need to do blah, 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 blah. This is when I need to make lunch for my kids. This is when I need to get them down for a nap. This is when I have a whole bunch of time to work on my podcast, in my case, right, or whatever. This is the time that I need to do bloop, 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 bloop. So all the things that mattered to me happened in my day, okay? So that's the first tip that I want to give you. When you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, look at your life, okay? At a month glance, at a weekly glance, in a daily glance, in an hourly glance, okay? And take it all from this big picture of, look at all the things that are happening, to, okay, what's happening this week? To, okay, what's happening today? Okay, what's happening right now? And one of the things that I just listened to in You Are a Badass Every Day, it's by Jen Sincero. Love her book series. She talks about the acronym, the word now really should stand for never overwhelmed. If you are living in the now, if you're living right now, you can't be overwhelmed because you're really just thinking about what am I doing here? What am I doing now? Who am I with? Who am I serving? Who am I talking to? Who am I blessing? Who am I XYZ, whatever. Overwhelm comes from living in the future of all the to-do list things that you have to do, right? That's where anxiety lives. That's where stress lives. It's all the future tasks. If you live now and you make the most of now, you will never be overwhelmed. And clearly that's something I'm working on, but I love that. Now stands for never overwhelmed, right? Okay. Second tip I want to give you. First tip was to plan. Okay. Second tip I want to give you is to brain dump. Okay. Brain dump. After in my like planner thing, and you can literally do this on a blank piece of paper. You don't have to have a Red Fox planner like me to do this. Okay. Literally get out a piece of paper and just write everything down that is stressing you out. And for me, I know myself, my thoughts come to me when I'm on my walk, when I am in the shower, or when I am working out Beachbody style. It's kind of annoying, but it's fine because when you're in the shower, you can't really take notes, you know, because you're wet. And when you're doing your Beachbody workout, you don't want to take notes because then you'll have to pause your workout 400 times. And when you're on your walk, you don't want to take notes because, at least in my case, I'm listening to personal development or something else. And this thought pops in my head that I'm like, okay, now I gotta pause my personal development, flip over here so that I can write down this thing so I can remember it. And it's kind of annoying, but those are the times when the thoughts just like come flooding. That's the time when ideas come flooding to my head, all the things. Oh, what happened? Okay. So, but when I take the time to get it out of my head, even as annoying as it is, I'm in the shower, I don't want to write this down. I'm on my walk, I don't want to write this down. I'm doing my workout, I don't want to write this down. Literally, the second I do, it's like, what was I worried about again? Like I wrote down 2 things. that were just like cycling in my head and just over and over that I'm like, I just wrote down those 2 things. And why was I freaking out? Like I have 2 things that I need to do today. So best advice is that you do your brain dump before your moments of thought come. The best times for me are when I start my day with a brain dump, or when I go to bed and do my brain dump for the next day before I even wake up. Then my thoughts aren't reeling and all the to-do list tasks aren't like overwhelming me during all these other times, right? So really, truly, when you're starting to feel that stress, anxiety, overwhelm, whatever attack, write it down, like literally pen or pencil, paper, on a Post-it note, on a blank sheet of paper, on your planner, on your whatever, write it down. Get it out there so that literally you can cross it off when it's done, and you'll look at it and be like, that wasn't even that big of a deal. And there's this book called Eat That Frog, which I'll be 100% transparent. I've never actually read it, but I've heard about it so much that I feel like I've read it, and I'm going to read it soon so that I can stop saying what I just said. But the whole concept of the book is there's something in your life that feels so heavy. And as soon as you identify it, as soon as you get rid of it, as soon as you eat that frog, the stress and the anxiety and the overwhelm just like almost completely disappears. And you're like, I got so much time to do everything because I already did the thing that I was like dreading the most. And that one thing that's causing you like anxiety, fear, overwhelm, stress, whatever, as soon as you just tackle it and you just get it done, like life is just so much better. And you're like, what else should I do today? And you have a whole day ahead of you because you already did the thing that you needed to do. Okay, that scares you the most and makes you feel overwhelmed. Okay, next tip I want to give you, number 3, is to simplify. Okay, unfortunately, it took me till Saturday of last week to figure this out for myself. But long story short, I was doing 75 hard, loved it. It was honestly very easy for me. Wasn't even really a challenge. I loved it so freaking much. Next phase of 75 hard is phase 1. Okay, for those of you who aren't familiar with this, suffice it to say, you just do all the things that you were doing in 75 hard, which is 2 45-minute workouts. One has to be outside no matter how hot or cold it is. Drink a gallon of water, follow a nutrition plan with no cheats or treats, and take a progress picture and read 10 pages every single day. Okay. A lot of those things were already pretty habitual for me as a coach anyways. I like to work out. So doing 2 45-minute workouts wasn't even hard. I really liked 75 hard. And I was like, oh yeah, phase 1. Ain't no thing. My sister did it. I can do it. There's a part in phase 1 that's called 8 critical tasks. Okay. And long story short, I don't want to make the whole call about this, but you're supposed to add 8 things on your to-do list that are not already habits that you want to make habits. And it's a great thing. It's like you can make it whatever you want. So if you're like, honestly, I suck at morning prayer, I want to get better at that, you can make that a critical task. I suck at watching my nutrition videos from Alana or Autumn. I want to make that a critical task. I suck at spending time unplugged with my spouse. I'm going to make that a critical task. So it was like, great. Like, yeah, I'm going to like be the most disciplined person. I'm going to have 8 things that I want to do, and I'm going to do them, and I'm going to be so awesome. Oh my gosh. Last week, I would not have survived without Energize, for one. And I also would not have survived without Energize. I got way too little sleep and I had way too much Energize. And that is not in alignment with my life or my goals. And I spent time with Blake only because it was on my to-do list, literally. There was so many times that it was like, I have so many critical tasks to do. The day is done. I had to take care of myself, plus my business, plus my coaches, plus my 3 children, plus do the podcast thing, plus make food for all of us, for all the things, whatever. And now I got to do my 8 critical tasks, and I got to spend time with you. But I wouldn't spend time with you because I don't have time to, but it's a critical task, so I have to. And it was just this like, no, this is not in alignment with my goals at all. So Saturday night, Halloween, it was 9:45 p.m. I still had 5 of my 8 critical tasks to do. And I said, I'm done. I am not doing this. It is Halloween. I had a beautiful and fabulous day with my family. I have felt very successful today. I spent really good quality time with my kids. I did listen to an hour of Audible. I did 2 workouts. I read 10 pages. I have done so many good things today that I don't want to feel like a failure if I don't do these other 5. And it was hard for me to like quit because I'm not a quitter. I'm not. But I just had to have that conversation with myself of that simplify concept. Do I really need to do everything that I'm telling myself I need to do? Is it all necessary? No? Okay, then I'm going to drop it. And I'm going to give it up. And just truly being conscious of your own personal values and your own personal life and the things that you want out of life.
Oh
no. Not just the things that you want today or whatever, but out of life. And are your daily tasks and your calendar in alignment with that? And one of my very favorite things that I've ever heard on this topic comes from the book Start by John Acuff. Start by John Acuff. And he talks about diamonds are what they are because someone placed value on them. Like, who really knows why we decided that a diamond is more valuable than a ruby? Somebody just decided that it was, therefore it is, right? And that is true of your life. Sorry, I'm like sweating to death. That's why I keep moving my hair because I'm like hot. But diamonds in your life are whatever value you place on them. And I think I've shared this before, maybe I haven't, but there's this analogy that I've heard where, let me just tell the story, okay? So there's a professor standing in front of his class and he has this huge jar, right? And he shows everybody like, all right, look at this. I'm going to put some rocks in here. Is it full? And the class says, yeah, it's full. And he's like, watch this. So then he puts pebbles in the jar. And there's like tons of pebbles in there. And then he asks the class, is it full? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, watch this. And he puts sand in the jar. And he's like, is it full? And the class is like, yeah. And he's like, watch this. And he puts water in the jar, right? And then he says, is it full? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, yeah, it is full. What's the point of this exercise? And people in the class raise their hand and say, like, no matter how full you think your life is, you can always fit more in. And he's like, no, no, that is not the point at all. The point is, if you didn't fit the big rocks in at the first, you'll never get them in later. And I love that. I love that. And we need to decide in our life, what are those big rocks? When we're juggling life, right? Which balls are rubber and will bounce back if you drop it? And which ones are crystal and will break if you drop it? My personal opinion, in my life, I can't tell you what it is for you. My health is a crystal ball. It will break if I drop it. Maybe not immediately, but it's one of those things that if I let it drop, it will get cracked a little. And then if I drop it again, it will get cracked a little more. And then if I drop it again, it will get cracked a little more. And eventually it will shatter. If we don't take time to be healthy now, we will take time to be sick later. And heart disease runs in my family. Obesity runs in my family. For me personally, my health is a crystal ball. I have to take care of it. For me personally, my marriage is a crystal ball. Divorce is not an option to me and my husband. It is a swear word. So therefore, I'm making time for my spouse because he matters to me. And time together matters to me. My children, they're a crystal ball. Because I know, as cliche as it sounds, they're not going to be little forever. And I know that the time that I'm spending with them now will shape them into the humans that they're going to be in the future. And I know that if I take time to listen to them now, they're going to take time to talk to me in the future when they're a teenager, because we've already established this trust. They already know that mom cares. They already know that I want to listen to them. They already know I'm there for them. Am I perfect? Nope. No, I'm not. There are a lot of times that I like, when I'm doing something XYZ and I'm busy and not being the mom that I want to be. But that is my goal always, to strive to be this intentional mom who is there for her kids, because I know they're not going to be little forever. Okay. There are other balls in my life though that are rubber. And if I drop them for a sec, they'll bounce back and it'll be all right. Okay. So simplify your life. Identify the big rocks in your life. Identify the crystal balls. Identify the things that matter to you so that you cannot disregard those when you're trying to pursue all the other things, holidays, whatever, okay? I want to read the comments real quick before I go on to the fourth point. Let's see. Stephanie said, yes, I'm so cranky when I'm stressed, and I feel like the stigma around holidays are that everyone is supposed to be busy and stressed. Yuck. Yes. And Ashley said, Bryn, my girl did the same. My girl finds everything. Yes, yes. Just stick in your mouth. Yes, exactly. Sarah said, oh my, wow, you're the second person in the last few days to tell me this story. Oh, that's awesome. Obviously, it's something you need to hear, Sarah. I love it. I love that story. Okay. With Stephanie's comment, it reminded me of something before I move on to the last point. Okay. I want you, I can't remember what it was that I was listening to. I think I listen to so much good stuff that I'm like, sometimes it sucks to remember where it came from. I think it was in the book You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, not You Are a Badass Every Day, just the original one. She talks about that, like, sometimes we wear busy as a badge of honor. Yes.
Well, what time is John Courtney?
I'm not sure, but he said he'll knock when he's ready. Okay.
Well, can I check on your watch?
It's 2:30. Hopefully soon. Okay.
2:30?
Yeah, come do puzzles with Ellie. Okay, sorry. Sometimes we wear busy as a badge of honor. That, like, when someone asks you, like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm so busy. Okay, what does that like mean, right? And I'm almost positive it was from that book. But she talks about identify the things in your life that spark joy for you and talk about them. And don't just say, I'm so busy. Say, I'm working really hard to be a wonderful mom and to launch a podcast and to spend intentional time with my spouse. And I'm working really hard this week to cook fabulous meals for my family. And you know what? I love it. Yes, handsome.
It's not working on the rug.
Okay, so go get a book from the bookshelf and you can do it on a book. Or stick that thing down, the wood thing, and then you can do it on that. Will you close the door so we don't wake up Delilah, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Sorry. That was loud. Identify the things in your life that you're doing that bring you joy. And then also identify the little moments in between where you're really not. I mean, we're all busy, right? But we all have things, hopefully, that spark joy in your life. And identify those things that you're working on that spark joy rather than just, I'm busy, right? Find those things that bring you joy and identify them and communicate them to others versus just use this busy word, right? Okay. One more thing I want to say about what Steph said. She said, I'm so cranky when I'm stressed and I feel like the stigma around the holidays are that everyone is supposed to be busy and stressed. Yuck. Okay. For whatever reason, I feel like I need to share this story. Okay. When I got married, I know marriage is another one of those things that you're like, bride has to be bridezilla, right? Like the wedding has to be perfect and the bride's going to be a biatch because she has to have everything perfect and whatever, XYZ. Okay. I was the polar opposite of that. Like, really, my mother-in-law, I think she was almost annoyed with me because she was like, so what do you want? And I was like, I want to marry Blake in the temple. I really don't care other than that. Like, and for those of you who are not the same religion as me, it's just a really beautiful building that we get married in, and it's fabulous, right? And we get to be sealed for time and all eternity, and it's great. Okay. I didn't care. I literally did not care about anything else. And my mother-in-law was like trying to like, okay, so what colors do you want? Like, what flowers do you want? Like, where do you, I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. And as long as I get to marry Blake in the temple, I'm going to be happy. And that was my to-do list. Okay. And I really want to challenge you to like overcome that stigma of like, I have to be busy around the holidays. Me and my family have to go to every single party and every single thing and every single XYZ. And we have to be stressed and we have to be busy and we have to buy gifts for 400 people or else, right? Like just let it go. Just let it go and identify, what do you want out of this holiday season? What do you want? Okay. For me, I want to be on top of the health game. I want to be one of the people that's already at my goal before January 1st. I don't want to be one of those people who waits till January 1st to create a New Year's resolution and that my health is on the back burner for the next 2 months. No, that is not, no. I'm going to enjoy the holidays, not the whole months. Okay. I'm going to enjoy the day. Thanksgiving Day, I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to have sweet potato pie and I'm probably going to have 2 helpings and it's going to be delicious. And I'm not going to have any guilt about it at all. And I'm probably going to have pumpkin pie with homemade whipped cream and it's going to be delicious. And I'm not going to have any guilt about it at all. And I'm going to have a roll, maybe 2 with some mashed potatoes and it's going to be freaking bomb. Yes. But the other days in November, I'm going to eat normal. Okay. And same thing in December. Christmas Eve, you better believe I'm going to have some of my mom's freaking delicious stuff. And she always buys us our favorite cereal. And I'm going to eat some of my favorite cereal. I'm going to have some Christmas ham. I'm going to have some more rolls. I'm going to have some more pie. I'm going to have some more fabulous desserts and candies and whatever. But the other days, I am going to stick to my goals because health matters to me. Like I just said, right? It's a crystal ball for me. So that is one thing that I want out of this season. I want to make sure that my family and I are focused on Christ. And so I want the things that are aligned with me for that. And does that mean we have to go to 1 million Christmas parties and buy presents for 400 million people? No, that does not. That means we need to have conversations, really super casual conversations in our home after dinner about the birth of the Savior, because that matters to me, right? And that will not happen when we're busy. That will happen when we're calm, right? So I would just really, okay, I'll help you in a second. We're having a come apart, it's fine. Do a different puzzle, okay? All right, I might need to wrap up this recording in 2 seconds. Find out what matters to you in this holiday season. Thanksgiving and Christmas. And make that your priority, okay? And you need to go to your room? Pause, please. I'm so sorry. Okay, find out what matters to you in this holiday season, make that a priority and let everything else go. Okay, simplify. Last point, and then we'll wrap up this recording. And then if you're on live, stay on live and we'll just chat. I want to read 2 of the comments. Ashley said, I was the same. With my wedding, my mom did a lot of it. I had some input, but she did most of it. Yes. And Christy said the same thing. Yes, this was me. Yes, totally. That's why you guys are my people. Sarah said, amen. We had homemade honey wheat bread and it was healthy because we had replaced it. Good. They replaced the sugar with raw honey, used wheat and left out the gluten. That's awesome. Yes, those simple swaps. They still taste delicious and help your body feel energetic and good too. Okay, last tip, and then we'll wrap up this recording. Delegate. Anything that you don't need to do, please let other people help you. I know we try, especially me, like we try to wear this badge of like, I can do it all and I don't need anyone's help, right? Like, no. Leftovers, guys, they're the best. Just make a little extra on those days that you actually make dinner, have some leftovers the next day, and you're delegating to yourself, right? And you're making things a little less complicated. You're delegating to your Instant Pot, and you're letting your Instant Pot help you make a fast, delicious, fabulous dinner. You're saying to your husband, hey babe, will you please go get our son's prescription for his cough medicine? I don't have time to do it today. And then you let him do it. Or you say, Hello, Instacart, this delivery grocery thing from Smith's. Will you please bring me groceries today? I know it's going to cost me a little bit more money, but it's going to save me a lot of stress to just literally order my groceries online and have you deliver them to my house, right? And sometimes I feel guilty about that. I don't know why. Maybe I feel a little less motherly if I don't take all 3 children to my grocery store at the same time. Why do we do this to ourselves? I don't know. But seriously, delegate, 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 delegate. Let people who love you help you. Simplify your life, all the things, all the things, all the things. Okay. Christy said amen. And she even did a little clap thing in the Zoom. I don't even know how to do that. I need to learn how to do that. Okay. That's all I had to say today. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, I feel like I talk about this thing all the time, but hopefully it was something new or something you needed to hear. And hopefully you can hear me over my cute little people who are a little distracting today. Okay, if you're on the recording, I love you. Bye. If you're on live, stay on live and we'll chat for a sec. Okay, recording people, bye.